We have come a long way since 15 women gathered together in 1902 to produce the Reading Room for the Blind, the first such place in the West. 15 people in the progressive era who said, we owe something to our community. And look at how far we have come. Yeah. There is one woman a little later than 1902 I'd like to acknowledge. It's my predecessor, who for 20 years kept the LightHouse sound on an even keel and was able to produce solid programs and to save the money and keep the resources that allowed us to dream. So give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Anita Aaron. You know, yesterday, I saw a little microcosm of what we aspire to do. Just people sitting in our new waiting room, which you'll see in just a few moments. There was a woman who was taking her first Braille lessons. Somebody in her 30s knew that this is the way she's going to read. There's another woman taking her first cane lesson. There's a woman in her 20s, a graduate student at UC Berkeley, going on to get her PhD. And then I met a guy who just finished, a blind guy, who finished his degree in electrical engineering at Sonoma State and is aspiring to get a job as an electrical engineer who's blind. These are just 3 random people we saw. And mostly, that's what we do, and what we always have done, and what we always will do at the LightHouse is we teach. We teach people of all kinds, at all ages, youth, middle-aged, and seniors. But teaching is changing, and now we do it a little differently. We take blindness more seriously. We do it immersively. We do it together. We do it with a whole lot of fun. And the building you're about to see has a lot of spaces for fun. We have a kitchen designed so that 12 students can cook together and get into trouble together. We have a fitness center where people will do everything from yoga to aerobics to acupuncture to Lord knows what in there. And that's really something that's been very popular to us. We have a craft center so people can work seriously on crafts, not put them away, do the arts and crafts that has been a long tradition in the LightHouse for the Blind. And we have many rooms where computers are going to be taught, not just PCs now, but tablets and iOS devices and all kinds of other devices, whatever is next. Upstairs on the 11th floor, you're going to see a room devoted to our science lab for STEM. We'll be doing everything from dissecting a shark to probably electrocuting each other. Okay. You're also going to be able to see up there rooms for other construction and a room devoted to an amateur radio station we hope to work with the city and county of San Francisco for emergency services. So when will all this start? How about Monday? Yeah, if we can clean up from the 500 of you here, we're going to gather, and our first immersion will happen because we're going to have, for the first time in 114 years, the ability for blind people to stay over and do blindness intensively and immersively in our student dorms. I hope you check them out. You're going to see a greatly expanded adaptation store where people can, for the first time, everything we sell you can put your hands on. That will allow blind people to shop and choose and make decisions. You'll be able to see our expanded low vision clinic where our friends from the UC Berkeley School of Optometry will be there. Okay. And you'll be able to see what the Media and Accessible Design Laboratory, the MAD Lab, where we make maps that you can touch and talk We make all kinds of things in 3D. You'll see a lot of signage we've created, the latest tactile stuff. We're a world leader on that, as Scott has said. So what are all these rooms for? We want to triple the number of students, and we call them students now, not clients, the number of students that the Lighthouse serves. Every week in the Bay Area, just in the Bay Area, 20 people become blind and need our services. That was much of the impetus to create the new Lighthouse for the Blind in order that we can have multiple classes, multiple teachers, multiple events, and do it with style and panache. So in addition to teaching, though, there's more. We know that we have a growing obligation to convene and to spark and to catalyze communities that are far beyond the blindness community. As Scott was talking about, the high-tech sector. Well, now our multi-purpose room will allow us to have events from up to 150 people, gather in style, connect, network. We had an impromptu thing. We opened the doors. I think the cocktail hour probably helped. And 100 tech workers from our neighbors, from Uber, Twitter, and all those folks just stormed in. We love that. And we need them. We need to co-design with them the technology of the future. We need to talk to each other. We need not to be in silos. That's why the new Lighthouse for the Blind is smack dab in the middle of mid-market, the growing hub for all things tech. Lighthouse has had a long tradition too. Since 2011, Dr. Josh Mealy and I founded LightHouse Labs. I want to salute you, Josh. LightHouse Labs is a place where every month we gather the best and brightest blind folks, technologists, sighted folks, people from big tech, and we talk and have conversations like available nowhere else. You know, the folks who come to us every day now, can you make this app work? How come this is broken? What about this device? We now have a place that we can dialogue, and we do think that is our destiny. You know, part of our destiny, too, and part of our past has been to be disruptive. And let's look at a little disruptivity. The great physicist Richard Feynman said, "Science is the belief in the ignorance of experts." Let me riff a little bit about ignorance of experts. In 1888, one of our progenitors, Newell Perry, was a young blind boy from the Central Valley, went to the California School for the Blind. Anybody here from California School for the Blind? He wanted to escape. He wanted to go to a straight high school in Berkeley. And the experts at that time said, it can't happen. No blind person ever went to a standard high school. He argued against the experts. He graduated from Berkeley High School. In 1892, that same person, Newell Perry, said, I want to go to the University of California. And the expert said, why would you want to do that? If you get an education, you'll just be unhappy afterwards because you won't be able to find a job. That was the standard expert feelings in the 1890s. Newell Perry went to UC Berkeley, got his degree, went on and got a PhD in mathematics from Heidelberg and became a noted scholar in mathematics. And that was just the start of his career. All right. Yeah. In 1938, probably one of the greatest experts on anything, William Wilson Campbell, the head of Lick Observatory, the guy who was the head of the National Association for the Advancement of Science, for 8 years head of University of California. William Wilson Campbell was losing his vision. And as an expert, he chose to do the thing that was prevailing in the 1930s. He climbed to the top of a 4-story building here in San Francisco and jumped and ended his life. That was not that long ago. And also here, let's get a little more recent. In the 1950s, as recently as that, students who came to school, California School for the Blind and others, went through their entire school background without the ability to use a white cane. The cane was considered disruptive, it could be dangerous. We've changed all that in the years fast. In the 1960s, blind people were, the experts said, blind people could not enter the civil service. Categorically, the government argued against our ability to be civil servants. A key decision that was made by a blind person here changed that. We changed that together. Thank you. In 1977, the experts in health, education, and welfare, Joseph Califano, said, we don't know if we should regulate this new thing, this Rehab Act. It's going to be too complicated. It's going to be too difficult. And the disability community is not just blind, but all disabilities said, we won't stand for it. They marched and occupied a building 2 blocks ahead of me here, the old federal building. They occupied it until the Carter administration signed those regulations, largest occupation in the history of the disability movement and of the United States. In 1984, a little outfit down in Cupertino had an idea, and they decided to come up with a computer that actually had a graphical user interface, the Macintosh. The experts said, this will never talk. This is the end of the way God intended computers, with a command line interface. Within a very short time, people, mostly here in the Bay Area, got the Macintosh talking, and it's been talking ever since. In 2002, there was a proposal I was part of to have immersion retreats for seniors. These are old people who wanted to address their blindness. They'd leave their home. They'd learn Braille. They'd learn cooking. They'd spend time away. People said they'd never do it. Seniors can't learn this blindness stuff. We started that in 2002, and throughout Northern California, senior retreats now, including the LightHouse's retreat, have taught thousands of seniors the skills and proper attitudes about blindness. Yeah. In 2003, the experts at the San Mateo County of Child Protection Services heard about a couple who just delivered a newborn son. Nothing wrong with the son, nothing wrong with the parents, except they were both blind. The experts said, we got to take the kid away from the parents. Thanks to the extended community and the American Council of the Blind, that decision was reversed. In 2007, the same little firm in Cupertino came out with a kind of phone that had no buttons. People said, this would be the end of telephony as we know it. They actually were right. Anybody got an iPhone now? Okay. In 2012, the folks at Coinstar, we asked at the LightHouse, the folks at Coinstar, what about those 30,000 kiosks around that sell DVDs, red boxes? We can't use them. And they said that would be impossible. We can't make that talk. We can't put buttons on these things. We're just a poor $5 billion company. Well, we work with Redbox, and last week, I'm proud to say, we saw the first talking accessible Redbox. 3,000 of which will be rolled out across California in the coming months. So today, the experts say that in the year 2020, a nice year, 10 million self-driving cars will be on the streets of the United States. 10 million. But the experts say, and the insurance people say, those cars will need a steering wheel and a licensed driver. What a heartbreaking end to technology. I have a feeling the Lighthouse will have something to do with making sure those things can be driven independently by blind people as well. Today, the experts in the consumer electronics field say it's too hard to take all those touch screens that adorn our dishwashers and washing machines and stoves and disable perfectly able blind people because of inattention. They say it's going to be too hard to retrofit or too hard to design for blind consumers. I have a feeling the Lighthouse is going to be doing something about that in our future. The Lighthouse in the 21st century must challenge these ideas. We must be optimistic. We believe in each other. In fact, it is what we do. We are the shared humanity. We believe in each other's ability to grow. I learned Braille at age 39. I'm giving you this speech from paper Braille hard copy. The folks that I learned it from, some of them didn't think that somebody as late as 39, I know that was only a year or two ago, could learn Braille, but here we are. So, in a half an hour or so, you're going to see the new Lighthouse. You're going to see the physical manifestation of the hope and love and aspiration of our community to soar higher, to demand more of ourselves and of the society in which we live. But if you want to see the real Lighthouse, I ask you, don't look at the glass and steel. Don't look at those beautiful acoustic things that Chris Downey and others designed. Don't look at those teaching sites and the playfulness and the warmth and welcoming. Instead, I invite you to look to your left and look to your right and see the people here who are compassionate and caring and innovative. These are the people who have been, who are, and will forever be the Lighthouse for the Blind. Thank you.